What you tolerate will define you. Most men don't realize it. But they're not being destroyed by what they hate. They're being slowly shaped by what they allow. The enemy isn't outside, it's what they permit within. You tolerate the laziness. You tolerate the excuses. You tolerate mediocrity. And then you wonder why your life feels small. But here's the truth. What you tolerate will define you. Not what you preach. Not what you post. Not what you claim you stand for. You can wear all the quotes, follow all the alpha pages, listen to all the podcasts. But if you keep tolerating what weakens you, you will never become who you were meant to be. Let's get brutally honest. You don't rise in life by accident. You rise by standards. And your standards are not set by what you hope for. They are set by what you allow. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you teach people how to treat you. Every time you tolerate weakness, you reinforce it as acceptable. Every time you tolerate inconsistency, you erode your identity. You think, it's just one more time. No. It's one more brick in the house of your downfall. And here's the twist. It doesn't feel like destruction. It feels like compromise. It feels like being realistic. It feels like giving yourself a break. But behind that softness is decay. Behind that comfort is collapse. Look at your life. Your body? It's a reflection of what you've tolerated. Your mindset? Built by the thoughts you've tolerated. Your income? Directly tied to the habits you've tolerated. Your relationships? A mirror of the disrespect you've tolerated. Harsh? Good. Because life doesn't give trophies for comfort. It gives them for conviction. Standards aren't about being perfect. They're about being unwilling to accept less than what aligns with your purpose. Let me say that again. A man with standards is not a man who does everything right. He's a man who refuses to let the wrong things live inside him. He doesn't entertain drama. He doesn't rationalize weakness. He doesn't keep toxic people around because he's afraid of being alone. He doesn't beg for respect. He commands it through discipline and distance. Because he knows. The moment you accept less, you become less. Tolerance sounds noble, until it becomes self-betrayal. You tolerate that one bad habit, and it multiplies. You tolerate that negative voice, and it becomes your identity. You tolerate that average life, and before you know it, you're buried alive in your own compromise. Most men die this way. Not suddenly, but in pieces. They kill their potential with every maybe tomorrow. They trade power for peacekeeping. They kill greatness in the name of comfort. And worst of all, they teach the next generation that it's okay to fold. It's not. Discipline is not about being harsh, it's about being free. Freedom is not found in doing whatever you want. Freedom is found in refusing what enslaves you. You think you're being kind to yourself by taking it easy, by lowering the bar, by not being too hard. But that kindness? It's a killer in disguise. Because it leads to a life where nothing changes. A man must draw the line. And then defend it with everything he's got. That line might be: no more skipping workouts, no matter what. No more chasing people who don't see your worth. No more escaping through porn, food, or false comfort. No more tolerating fear as your default setting. Because the standard you set becomes the man you become. You become what you settle for. If you settle for distraction, you become fragmented. If you settle for comfort, you become soft. If you settle for being liked, you become forgettable. If you settle for surviving, you never taste what it means to live. But if you raise the bar, if you start cutting out everything that weakens your soul, if you start saying no with the same power you say yes to your future, you become something rare. You become a man with clarity. A man who doesn't fold when it's hard. A man who doesn't tolerate lies from the world, or from himself. A man who walks with presence because he knows who he is. So ask yourself, what have you been tolerating? What weakness, what habit, what relationship, what lie has been allowed to live rent-free in your life for far too long? And are you ready to kill it? Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because every second you delay, it grows. And every time you let it live, you shrink. This world doesn't need more men who blend in. It needs men who draw lines in blood and say, "This is where it ends. And this is where I begin." Final truth. You won't rise until you raise your standards. You won't heal until you stop tolerating your own poison. And you won't become him until you bury the version of you that settles. What you tolerate will define you. So stop tolerating weakness. Stop tolerating the lie. Stop tolerating the life that's less than you're capable of. Start building. Start deciding. Start choosing discipline over decay. Because the man who refuses to tolerate less becomes unstoppable.